let's talk a little bit about what it takes to get in here. I mean, how much money does somebody need to bring in order to buy one of these houses that sell in these build to rent communities you're building?
Yeah, the starting point to get into one of our single family homes is only about 65,000. So that's our initial buy-in, and obviously it'll go up from there depending on the duplex or quad that you're buying or investing in. But starting point is 65,000. And the good news, Jim, which we love about real estate, and I know you and I have talked about this personally, is you're leveraging. You're buying a $500,000 asset. If it was stocks, you'd probably have to put up all 500,000. With this, we have really good financing options where you're putting up anywhere from 20 to 25% down and leveraging the rest, especially through our 4.75 program. So the buy-in points are at a great spot and definitely doable for most of our people. And as you know, for some of our people that might say, hey, we're looking for just a little more write-off. We're looking very long-term with our property. We do now have, and I know people, wait, say that again. We do now have a 100% financing program. So the 100% financing program can actually get you in at only a few $1,000s. Now you have to have good credit. And when you're putting nothing down and having a little higher rate to the 100%, you will have some lost cash flow each month. But some people would rather keep their money in the bank and then look to refinance in 2 years. So that is an option as well that gets it even lower through the 100% financing option.
I imagine they have a little bit of a hard time being cash flow positive, putting nothing down, though.
When you do that, yeah, it's a different play that some people like. You will have a negative cash flow. But some people say, I'd rather keep that 25% in the bank. And we believe with where the direction of it's going, I'd rather take a loss, and it's a good deduction for me. And then within 2 years, I'm going to refinance it down to a lower rate anyway. That could get it into a better place. So it's a leveraging technique. It's something, to be quite honest, Jim, I would have done 20 years ago, but today me and Chris are kind of the old guys, and we're a little more conservative than that. But it is an option that some people are using.
Okay. Now you guys are doing quite a bit. I mean, this is this is a turnkey opportunity, meaning it's basically a passive investment to the investors. What should they expect to pay you as far as fees go?
You want to talk about management, Chris?
Sure. Yeah. We operate both the building company and a property management company, and when the property is rented, we are charging an 8% property management fee on collected rent only. So if we don't collect the rent, there is no 8% fee. In addition to that, we also lease the property up front. So the property may or may not be rented at the time that the buyer buys the property. The investor buys the property, but we will handle the lease up for the investor post closing, or maybe lease prior to closing, and that is a charge of 75% of the first month's rent when that property is leased. And beyond that, if there's any sort of other maintenance that needs to be handled, our teams will handle the maintenance requests along the way. If there's ever a turnover in the property, our turnover teams will go in. They'll make the property ready for the next tenant. The main thing that the investor needs to do, in this transaction, is obtain the loan. So they have to get financing. They do have to get insurance for the property. And those things, and they have to pay the tax bill. Those are going to be the bills that are really going to come to their house that aren't going to come through the property management company. And of course, if they want us to pay them on their behalf, send them to us and we'll pay them. But those are the items that are typically being paid by the investor. So again, it's not a completely passive investment, but it's a very low intensity of involvement from the investor standpoint.
Okay, so let's say somebody buys one of these houses and, tenant in it, they're getting paid rent, everything's going okay, but they just decide they don't like you guys anymore. They don't want you managing the property. How long are they locked in with you, and what does it take to get out and manage it themselves or find a different property manager?
Sure, yeah. So if they just say, hey, we want out, there's a 2-year initial time period that is their contract. And if they want to get out before that 2-year period, there are two ways. One is if we've just done something terrible and there's cause, then there's no charge to leave. If they just say, hey, you know what, my brother opened up a property management company. I want to move my properties over there. Then there's some sort of fee to break that management agreement, depending on how much time is left on the agreement. It's not overly burdensome, but it does vary depending on how much time is left in the agreement.
What percentage of people that bought a house through you end up moving on with some different management solution rather than just using you to manage?
It's very, very small. We were actually just looking at that the other day. So there's about a 2% cancellation rate in our property management company right now, which means we have about a 98% retention rate.
The hosts of The White Coat Investor are not licensed accountants, attorneys, or financial advisors. This podcast is for your entertainment and information only. It should not be considered professional or personalized financial advice. You should consult the appropriate professional for specific advice relating to your situation.